Hey guys, Joshua Peterson here at Peterson Electric. Want to do another video for you. If you're a potential customer out there trying to find a contractor, I just have to give you a couple key pointers. If you've never dealt with other companies and services coming in your home, I want to give you a couple pointers. I've had some bad reviews because I picked up the phone and people just seem to get upset so quick and they're frustrated about their electrical issue or their future thing they're trying to install. A couple of key things. One, when you're calling us, for example, we don't have a secretary. My wife Alicia and myself are the secretaries, and we're out in the field. We feel it doesn't really pay for us to hire a secretary so they can take your information, which most of the time people don't want to give their information other than their first name and maybe just the city they're in because they're worried about getting spammed. And I totally respect that. If we already did business with them and they want to give us their email, we only send out one newsletter a year at Christmas to tell them we're alive. We don't abuse that with people. But if you don't want us to have your information, we totally respect that. But when you call us up and we don't even know the city you're in and we don't even know your first name and you're going to text pictures when you're off of work, we don't even know who you are. And then sometimes like 2-3 days, a week later, we're getting pictures from someone that never told us their name. Or they have a number that crosses over to Google Voice, and we have a Google Voice number too. So a lot of times when you call me and I hit that reply button, can I call you later? It doesn't come up with the number you called. It comes up with the number that you don't know. And then you're like, who is this? But I immediately responded. Of course, I can't text you at that moment. Maybe I'm in the car, maybe I'm on the other line, but I can't text when I'm on the phone or driving. So keep in mind that when we're responding, we're just trying to get a general idea. The other thing is that sometimes when we ask for your address, we're not going to like go and knock on your door. Maybe other companies do that and you've had that bad experience, but we don't do that. We're just trying to find out where you're at. Because sometimes if it's newer than 10 years, or you've recently bought your house in the last 10, Zillow is something that we can get on to see the inside of a home. And also, if we get on Google Earth, we can actually go down a street and look at the views of your house from outside and see the pitch of your roof when you're calling about ceiling fans or attic fans, or if it's a 2-story or a ranch. So when we call you guys up, we're sometimes just trying to figure out a bit of what you're going through. So understand, we need to know the who, what, when, where, why, and how, but we also like more information on the history of the house. How long have you lived there? Do you own the house? Do you rent it? Do you have a person meeting us? Are they over 18 years old? How are you going to pay? Do you want to do a credit card pre-hand? No, you don't. Okay, then we need a check in hand from the person that'll be there. Try to give you an average idea of the service call rate. But also, just has your lights been flickering, as well as there been issues going on with your outlet switches, dimmers? I don't know. I mean, was there a handyman last in there? Did you do a remodel? Did you just buy the house and it had a couple remodels? Did you know if it had a permit? There's a lot of information that we need to know a little bit up front before we head out to you. And I know sometimes that can be a little bit of a frustration and you're just trying to call and get a quick information. And I do respect that. Sometimes people just need a general price, but we need to ask those details. But if you call like this person just called me and then left me a 1-star review over the fact that I couldn't hear her because I was out in Eaton and cricket is horrible out there. Where, you know, if we were on Verizon, it would be in another area. So keep in mind when you're calling someone, sometimes there's just a hole in the wall, or we're going to be going to a basement where there's no cell service. But texting is good. Picture text is great. And sometimes people don't know how to smartphone picture text, but a lot of times people do. I'd say 80% of my phone calls do. And if you text pictures of the area far back of that living room from 3 angles, I can see switches and the ceiling. Is there a smoke detector I could tap off of? Am I getting a dedicated light going out towards it? So keep in mind that when you guys are trying to give us a call, the more information you can give us, the better. And if you're like limited on time between that window driving or your break, maybe you should just give a little bit more time when you give us a call, because then we can actually answer those questions. But the more we can figure out what you're going through and where it's at, we're just trying to possibly make sure, do we even need emergency service call? I had a guy call yesterday that said he needed it out right away. The reason why I went that night is because, yes, he said some key points that when he turns on his electric range, everything in the house freaks out, and the dishwasher, when he turns that on, it freaks out. His furnace is turning off. These are key points. Or he smells a carbon smell and something burning, or he hears crackling. These things are important, but sometimes it's not an emergency. So we're trying to qualify the situation, because we don't want to go out there and charge you for an overtime rate and didn't need it. And then next thing you know, you're upset at us because it took 2-3 hours to fix and it could have been done on straight time and it wasn't an emergency. So again, the more questions that we ask you guys, the more we can help you. But look, getting on Google, Yelp, and BBB and sandblasting us just for a 30-minute conversation when I can't quite get out of you what city and what's your first name. That's all we're asking. We're not asking your last name. Can you picture text? Yeah, we're not right now. Okay, no problem. Then just text us when you go home and let us know. And if you can't tell the weekend, no problem. But sometimes we can't give you a general price over the phone on everything. So we need to see more. And sometimes people say, will you go out and do a free estimate? Look, free estimates on our website does not state that I'm driving to every single job for free estimate. Free estimates can be jobs such as, hey, I'm wiring a Tesla, I'm wiring a hot tub, I'm doing a whole basement, I'm doing a kitchen remodel, I'm doing an addition on a home, I need a service change on my house. These things have to be walked through, but then we have to have time to schedule. But as far as like, hey, I need a ceiling fan put in, yeah, is it like for like? Do you have a box in the ceiling? I mean, I just got off this phone with this person and I asked him the same questions. Do you have a ceiling fan box? Your house is 6 years old. Is it pre-wired? Do you see a blank cover in the ceiling? How high is that ceiling? Didn't know any of those questions. So I said, just text me some pictures. No problem. I hung up, and next thing you know, 10 minutes later, I get a Google review for a 1 star. I mean, unbelievable, really. If you want a good answer, we have to be educated about your situation. Slow down. Give us the accurate information, some history. We'll be more than happy to help you. But please don't sandblast us on Google. Keep in mind, if you sandblast me on Google, guess what? I'm going to make sure I enter that information on that person on that number, and I'm never picking up the phone for that person again. Thanks, guys, for joining us. Have a good one.